Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good evening on another session of Let's Talk, and welcome to Let's Talk. We'll give it a few more minutes before I introduce my valued guest speakers and introduce the topic of the day. Very happy to see more ZU alumni joining us. Thank you, Zayed. We're always very happy to be back on Let's Talk show and introduce more to more the community of Zayed University to the professional or the outside community and our different services. This time it's an internal talk to talk or to introduce you all more about our Master in Education program, which is part of the master programs offered in Zayed University. Specifically, it's Master of Education in Educational Leadership and Administration. We'll have one of the professors, and specifically the Associate Dean, as well as one of our valued alumni of this program to talk to you more about it and introduce the program to all of you. Okay, we'll give it a start for now. Good evening, everyone. This session will be in English as introduced previously. Thank you again for joining. It is always a pleasure to be back here on the show to meet all of you and meet more ZU valued alumni. Let's Talk is back with an internal talk this time to introduce to you one of our unique master programs at Zayed University, the Master of Education in Educational Leadership and Administration. Today we'll have the Associate Dean of the program, Dr. Fred Conde, and one of our valued alumni, Serena Aoun. To better introduce you to both of my guest speakers of the night, Serena Aoun is a Lebanese graduate of Zayed University in 2019 with high distinction. She studied this program and is now working at Abu Dhabi International Private School, where she holds the role of a department head. I'm very pleased and happy to welcome both. Serena, Dr. Fred, welcome to Let's Talk. Assalamu alaikum.
Good evening, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Thank you, Hen.
Thank you so much for making time to be part of this show. And I must mention, Dr. Fred, you had classes today, but you gave us more of from your time. Thank you so much for the sacrifice.
Yes,
To start with, thank you. To start with, Dr. Fred, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Fred Conde, currently the Associate Dean of the College of Education. Prior to joining, and I work currently with the Educational Leadership Programs classes. And so I teach now. I'm in the working with the internship students in there, and so they're working on feverishly through their interns. And prior to coming to ZU, I was with the Abu Dhabi Department of Education and Knowledge, where I worked with professional standards and teacher licensing. So if you're out there and you remember the Adai program, that was all under the same umbrella.
Wonderful. Serena, one of our international graduates of Zayed University, very happy to have you on the show, and kindly introduce the audience about yourself.
Thank you, Mohammed. Good evening, everyone. My name is Serena Aoun. I'm an expat. I've been living in UAE for the past 14 years. And I have been in the education sector for 14 years as well. I'm a mother and a wife with a lot of ambition and determination to achieve my full potential in the education sector. I'm currently working as a department head at the Abu Dhabi International Private School in Abu Dhabi. And thank you so much for having me on the show.
The pleasure is ours. Dr. Fred, to start talking about the master's programs, why study master program first of all?
First of all, I want to just make sure that I bring greetings on behalf of Dean Rana, Professor Dean Rana, who is the fearless leader of the College of Education. And so, under her leadership, we're looking to continue this program and to continue to make it flourish. So the question was, why study it, right? Studying is a personal choice, right? In terms of the graduate, it's a personal choice, but you have to make that choice to elevate yourself. And so as a Master of Educational Leadership in the ZU and within the College of Education, you're guaranteed, once you have that job, general statistics say that you have 5 to 10,000 dirhams more on salary. So you have over a 4-year program. So you have more career opportunities. You have, in this instance, in the UAE instance, you look at fast track promotions because you have a Master's of Education in Leadership. Those are highly regarded in this space. And also, it gives you influence in terms of a thought leadership. So it's nothing better than to get a phone call from someone that says, hey, what do you think of? I'm thinking about doing this idea. What do you think about it? And that comes about because they know you have a leadership degree in education, and so they wanna get your overall input. And lastly, I'll say that through the Masters of Education or through the Master's program, you can increase your lifetime earnings. I think Forbes had a study out there that over 20 years, your income is probably 8 point something million dirhams over what you would have earned if you just had a 4-year degree. So it's worth it. It's safe to say. And I had a little trouble hearing you on that one. I think you broke up a little bit.
I hear you.
No, you're breaking out.
Yes.
However, I mean, I can share a little bit of information with respect to I didn't hear the question.
Okay, so I was saying,
There you go.
how is it special from undergraduate class? How do a usual class in a master program looks like usually?
Yeah, and so the difference between the undergraduate program and the graduate program is that one, there's more rigor in this master's program, and so it's also more self-directed, and so that you're working collaboratively with your peers, and so that it's not about the information you're getting, it's about the experience that you're sharing and what you're doing with that knowledge that's important. And so that's what's the major difference between an undergraduate program and a graduate program. Specifically with ours, you have more collaboration. And so the program for us is like a good curriculum design. It has a threefold. It has under normal, I'll put the caveat out there, under normal circumstances, it has a face-to-face component where you're getting some interaction. It has an asynchronous piece where you're actually reading and applying some of that information via the online strategy. And you have a synchronous where we're all together in that space and we're sharing and we're collaborating in an online space. And so those are the major differences in between the master's program and the online program. I think there's more of you and what you put into it. We'll give you information and will guide you in that process. But because it's a leadership program, it's now the other half has to be what the individual, what the candidate brings to the table. So we explore ideas and we're able to get a lot of things done because you have the initiative to say, okay, I know the idea. Now I'd like to apply it this way. And so that's where we come in and try to guide that process.
Talking about this program in specific, the Master of Education in Educational Leadership and Administration, how unique or different it is from other masters in education?
Well, the Masters of Education for in leadership differs from other masters in that this is specifically geared for you to own your space in education. It's not everyone that understands what an educational leader does, right? So for the time being, it's catered to school leadership and how you apply yourself in that context. And so if you're interested in being a principal or being a head of faculty or being a vice principal or cluster manager, we're gearing ourselves now within the program to do that. But future versions of this will iterate that you can work at an authority with this degree, that you can work at KHDA, MOE, at an educational ed tech industry. We want to give you the skills to decide what that is what is it that you really want to do with that educational leadership degree, and let's hone in on it. And so part of that is bringing to the table some of those activities and building on those, right? So you profit those activities and we work around it within the leadership program. But our goal is to make you to make you clear on understanding policy and to know how to manage others in a leadership context and how to get a school improvement process accomplished, right? We want to make you a good leader in an environment where you can help others, right? So you're not only the leader, you're also empowering others to lead with you. That's the goal.
And evidence on what you're saying, we have today the alumni of this program, Serena, as a department head of Abu Dhabi private school. Serena, how was it? How were you able to balance between being a mother of a little two and a wife, as well as a working mother and a student of a master's program?
I was very scared at the beginning, to be very, very honest. You see, I was pregnant when I first joined the master's program. But I certainly felt at ease quite quickly because of the way the program is actually structured. It is really organized and there are no surprises. All the expectations are shared at the beginning. I managed, because I maintain my balance between the different aspects of my life. I am a very organized person, so this is a must-have skill.
So time management is one of the words you need to pull as studying master's degree while working and being a mother.
Definitely.
Serena, looking back at the memories or the time that you were in Zayed University, would you like to share any?
Well, the learning environment was really very positive. Everybody was so supportive, very helpful. And whether it was the faculty or my fellow graduates now, everyone was very supportive, helpful, and we made so many friends, and we always had lots of laughter, and we celebrated each other's achievements. So it was a really positive learning experience for me. Although I'm an expat, and
Yes. Any specific faculty you would like to mention or has left an impression in Serena?
Definitely, I would love to thank and mention Dr. Zaina Hajej and Dr. John Matthews um, for their undeniable support of ZU's mission. Their feedback and guidance will never be forgotten.
Wonderful. Um, Dr. Fred, if we talk more deeply about the requirements of this program, we talked about how it helps you to lead in the education sector, and we spoke about more of the um, components of a master graduate class or program itself. What are the requirements to join the program? Do I need to have a certain bachelor program?
So the program is a 2-year program, and so the requirements are, well, before I answer that question, I want to go on to say that Dr. Zaina now is the chair at the College of Education program. So kudos to her and kudos to the work that she did with the Medler Group. And so to answer your question, it's a 2-year program, and it requires you to have a 2.5 GPA on the entry requirements. We do have to have a bachelor's in the field, in a related field of education, so that we can pick up from there and hone your skills even further. You have to have a 6.0 IELTS for full approval, and 2 years prior professional experience in a related educational setting.
Okay.
And,
And
and I might add that both male and female cohorts are most welcome. So putting it out there for everyone.
yes, wonderful. Um, Currently, is there any grants or discounts offered for people to join, especially that the deadlines for application spring 2021 is on the 22nd of November, so it's around the corner.
So the current grants that are out there are being offered through the graduate school, the merit awards, the merit scholarships. We also have alumni scholarships. So those of you who are prior as a U alumni from the undergraduate, you're most welcome. There's scholarships that you can apply for, and the one that's pending out there now is the Mohammed bin Zayed scholarship. So that's those, and the reason we mention those is because those cover a good portion of the fees and the costs associated with it. For individuals that are currently not working, there's a 20% discount as well. So you might want to give us a call and see what options might apply to you, what's available.
The team that is handling the chat is writing the number of how to contact the graduate studies department as well as general admissions. Dr. Fred asked on that, is the classes now offered virtually due to the world situation?
So yeah, in accordance with MOE guidance or guidelines, all our programs are being offered virtually. But remember that we also had a virtual component built into our program because that's good curriculum. We've just moved the face-to-face components back online. And so to answer I think one of our questions was Dr. Miriam Al-Hashmi is the program coordinator, and we'll provide her their details shortly.
Sure, I can see her also replying to some of the chat.
Perfect.
And will the next semester or the coming semester, spring 2021, also be virtually?
So that's that's a very good question. I think the whole world would like to know that. but the reality is that we still have to abide by MOE guidelines, and so whatever we're advised, then we will follow that model. Again, if we whenever we can restore our model to have some face-to-face contact online and blended synchronous and asynchronous, then we'll do that. But for now, we are all of our courses, all of the pieces are have been moved online to comply.
In case it's back on campus, is the program offered in both campuses, in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi and the Emirate of Dubai?
Yeah, currently it's offered in Abu Dhabi, but if we are back on campus, then we'd like to restore the Dubai campus starting the spring of 2021, if situation permits.
Wonderful. Serena, as a graduate of the program and as a department head of a private school right now, um, a word you would like to say on the program that you have studied?
Like I said, I feel very fortunate that I made this decision and that I chose to complete the Master's in Education and Leadership and Administration at ZU. It is accredited worldwide, and this will help any graduate to pursue their PhD or EDD further on. So this is a very, very important point that many people wonder about. Again, like I mentioned, it's very structured. There are no surprises. There is a very good balance between the assignments of the different courses that you're taking at the same time. This is one of the key reasons why I was able to maintain the balance between my work life and private life and study life. So it was very smooth. It really was, and the faculty does a fantastic job with coordinating between one another. All the assignments are given on a calendar for every student with the due dates ahead of time, so you can fix your own schedule based on the assignments that you have, so you are not feeling overwhelmed or anything. You receive feedback on every single assignment, so you know what are the next steps. The grading breakdown is very clear. The faculty, again, are very supportive, and they really do help with any question that you might have. But even over the weekends, via email, they respond to you. You feel like they're working 24/7. So kudos to all of them.
Thank you, Serena. Dr. Fred, we always get the question, can I study for a PhD even if I study in a traditional master, or like going or having it together?
I'm sorry, you broke up, Hind, a little
Okay.
bit.
Apparently, the internet connection is not supporting me this time. We always get a question: can I study my master's program as well as my PhD, having it in parallel?
So, as part of this program, when you come in, you have to have the bachelor's in related field. I think it's going as part of the Masters of Educational Leadership. It's a 2-year program, so it's designed to allow you to accomplish that. I don't think you would have enough time, even if you're Serena, to balance 2 programs side by side. Which would be
I
difficult.
would
Yeah, so even the most well prepared and achieving has to balance that, and so it's not advisable. We suggest, and most programs are this way. We suggest you target what you're doing and focus on that. And so there's enough rigor and enough challenges within the program to allow you to get the most out of it.
Okay. Talking about the program, you said it's 2 years. However, how many courses is there in the program, and how long is it?
So it's a 2-year program built over 2 semesters. There's 12 courses in the program. 11 of them are academic courses. with one course being an internship. And so, and which happens at the tail end of it. So we stair step you, we scaffold you through these courses, giving you enough knowledge in every one of the courses to get to the point where you can do the internship and then have it apply on context. Under normal circumstances, you'd be in the school and you'd be in an environment where you're interacting with other, with the principal, with other peers at your level, at the leadership level, and that you're also then working to provide leadership guidance to other teachers in groups and things like that. That might be a good question for Serena with respect to what happens in the field with that experience.
You mean the internship?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to fulfill around 175 hours, but they give you around 3 to 4 months to do so. And you do have to tackle around 7 or 8 standards, if I am not mistaken. And these standards really show a teacher how admin works and the different aspects of administration, because life outside the classroom is very different than behind those four walls. You explore finances, you shadow the principal, you meet with other teachers, you need to lead meetings and meet with parents. So you actually get to apply everything that you've been learning throughout these courses in this internship. And you need to actually write about and log in everything that you have been doing. So it's an excellent practice for a teacher to actually apply what she has been learning and see it in real life. Because, okay, in theory, things are a little bit different than they are in practical life. So it's an excellent chance for a student to actually see how things work at a school setting in real life with other people.
And so those are valid points in that you're able to interact and then reflect on the experiences that you've done. And so part of that is culminating in a portfolio that says, these are the activities that I've done. This is how I managed it. And this is how I think I would do things differently. So your reflective piece is, what would you do? What was the challenge? How did you mitigate that challenge? And what would you do in the future given that same challenge? So as Serena has said, these are the experiences that happen in an everyday scenario in an educational setting. So the best course of action is a practical course of action, right? You have your theoretical piece. Let me now go and do some of that and put that into
Absolutely.
play.
And the internship also teaches you to be a problem solver and a quick decision maker, because these two skills are vital if you are thinking about leadership position.
Great. So, as a worker and studying at the same time, can I do my internship at my workplace?
So normally the individuals would do a different workspace, but that's up to the internship coordinator. Sometimes they're given opportunities to step out of the classroom and step into the leadership role. So that's okay. That happens through the Office of Field Experience, and we make those adjustments as we need to. Doesn't matter whether you're at your own. It's just a little bit more difficult sometimes because you know the individuals, and so your experience is sometimes a little bit more challenging. But it doesn't matter whether you're at your own school or another school. The key is that we provide you with the tools to be able to lead and manage given those tasks. And that's what's important. Serena has indicated that you have to master. And whether you're teaching in the UAE or in the United States or South Africa or Lebanon, all of us have the same set of competencies to run a school. And so we have to build that capacity within the individuals that are in our program, and then provide them some experiences to show that they're competent in those. So that happens through the online courses or the face-to-face courses, reflective pieces that you write about and you think about and say, okay. So all of that put together is what culminates into a good experience.
Indeed. Would you personally advise to do the internship place at a different place than the workplace of the student?
It depends on the student. That's a conversation that's a more personal conversation, simply because, I have students that are well equipped to handle the challenges that come from working in the same environment. And so, and some are not. Some are a little bit more shy, and so putting them in a different environment then allows them to flourish a little bit more in another aspect of it. So it's a leadership component. Most of if you have the skill sets, it doesn't matter the location. To be honest with you, so I think that that's important. Don't let that hinder you from signing up to this program. We will work it out for you.
Definitely. Serena is one of the evidences on that. She has done her internship in the same place she works at.
Yeah.
Uh,
100%.
one, you wanted to say something, Serena?
No.
Okay. Serena, what's your expectations for joining this program? The same as what it is?
I was quite happy. The experience was much better than what I anticipated it would be. Again, I was not expecting that support. I was scared, but everyone again was very helpful. Um the faculty, the people we work with, the colleagues. It was great. It was great, and I advise everyone to continue their graduate studies and choose DU.
Thank you, Serena. Talking about advice, one advice you would give the students now or fresh graduates in general?
Well, whether they are a fresh graduate or someone who has begun their career, I would tell them that it's never too late to earn their master's degree. ZU's program is both flexible and structured at the same time. There are no surprises. The degree opens up doors and is accredited worldwide should they decide to pursue their PhD or EDD. So I encourage them to go ahead.
Thank you, Serena. Dr. Fred, the most critical question that we always get asked when we talk about pursuing higher education is the cost that is involved. You spoke that, and you showed us some studies that proves having your master's degree increases the annual earns in dirhams. So, how much does it cost to do your master's in
The
national?
million, is that the million dirham question? So, as with any quality program, there's always a cost involved, and so which is why I started with it's not really a cost; it's an investment. So if you start looking at it as an investment, then just like you would invest in any other thing, you see it less of a cost as less of an expenditure. So the program is 36 credits, as I said, and each credit runs about 2,300 dirhams per credit. So if we do a quick math, that brings it somewhere around 84,000 dirhams for the program over the 2 years. But remember the statistics I gave you on the front end that you're getting that back in salary, right? Right up front, in fast promotions, in rapid promotions, and ultimately in credibility that you're bringing to the table. So when they see you with those credentials, people call you and say, hey, what do you think? There's nothing more powerful than having a phone call from someone that says, I'd like you to lead this, blah, 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 whatever that fill in the blank, whatever that would be. But it's important because often enough, as Serena has already indicated, that we take a little bit of that for granted, right? The credentialing is important, and the credentials signal to everyone that says you're prepared. You have you carry that preparation carries a value, and because that carries a value, you carry a value as well. And so that comes in benefits, it comes in lifetime benefits, and it comes in salary benefits and other perks that you wouldn't otherwise have achieved with just a 4-year degree. So to all our colleagues out there, I got to remind you to those are the things that you have to factor in and consider when you make that decision.
Indeed, very valuable advices. To continue with the advices, Dr. Fred, what advice would you give students in general or specifically fresh graduates?
Yeah, I think you need to focus on what you want to do, and to remember that the value of a higher degree is that you believe that it's important to exceed your potential, right? So under a bachelor's program, you've capped out a certain point, so you're aware of what that is. You want to exceed that to the next level, and once you finish with us in the Masters of Leadership, I anticipate that you'll come back for the doctorate piece. I'm a big proponent of that. And if not, there's other ways to continue your education. It's a lifelong journey. So what I suggest is that you take a step now. It's a small step. Take the step now. Let's lock in the educational leadership degree, and then we'll figure out beyond that where to go. And so focus on you. This is about you and improving the quality of your ability and the quality of your life and your family's life, obviously, through that.
Wonderful. Thank you for the advice. It's very valuable. Serena, before ending the show of Let's Talk today, one word would you describe ZU with, or your experience at Zayed University?
One word.
One word. Challenging.
No, I would say smooth. I would describe my experience as smooth.
Smooth. Very nice, very simple. Thank you so much, Dr. Fred, Serena, for being part of tonight's Let's Talk and give us a very quick, simple, and straightforward tour in the Master of Education in Educational Leadership and Administration. I myself now more excited about the program. Thank you so much for your time and for your efforts, and wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you, Hind. Thank you very much for allowing us to share this information. And thank you, Serena, for being a wonderful alumni.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor. Thank
The
you, Hind.
pleasure ours, and always indeed proud of our ZU valued alumni. Thank you so much, and good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much for everyone who was watching us. I hope the team in the chat has shared all of the contact information that you can reach Dr. Fred and the College of Education team for the master's program. If there's any further questions or clarifications needed, you can also reach us on the different social media accounts of the alumni, starting from here on YouTube and LinkedIn, to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and indeed our generic email. We'll be very happy to hear from you, and specifically our valued bachelor alumni to pursue their higher education. We made it very short and simple for tonight's show. Hopefully, we'll see you next week with another story and another successful tour with our alumni. Please take care, and hopefully, we'll see you soon. And as we always end it, always let's connect. مع السلامة.